Hey up, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and it's Friday night, which means it's time for a Friday night appointment with fear. Thought I'd wear a bit of me metal gear tonight and have me hair down, me old grey hair, because I'm going through some sort of midlife crisis. But whatever, I'm a little bit early. It's supposed to be 9 o'clock. It's 20:59. Does it really matter? But tonight we're looking at Insidious, which is one of my favourite films. It's favourite horror films of recent times. It's a really, really good film. So let's hit the intro, and then we'll have a look at that film. Right, I'm back there. You saw a quick clip of Insidious there at the end of that intro. Before we start, don't forget, give the video a like. That'd be appreciated. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, which would also be greatly appreciated. So, let's get the film up and we will start looking at it. Obviously, I'm not going to just play it, as I say this every week, because, you know, that's how to get a video, that's how to get a channel suspended, isn't it? What have I done that for? God, I'm stupid. Where is it? Where have I put it? It's there. Put the bloody Andor logo. Hey, what a day. Right, the film begins with, this is Dalton, a young kid who's the main focus of the paranormal and spooky activity in this film. So we see him in bed, he's asleep. And this is a representation, by the way, full spoilers for this film. What we're going to see is a little representation of Dalton, essentially astral projecting. We don't see it, we see it from his point of view as he's roaming the house in spirit form. And there it ends with this terrifying old woman. I've gone too far. And then the titles appear. But you saw the terrifying old woman. Obviously, they don't fit on the screen, but never mind. It says Insidious. I can see it says Insidious, but you can't. It just says Insidious, which looks like some Eastern European word, doesn't it? But it's just chopped off the end of the screen. It doesn't matter. So the film is about. Oh, and then we cut to. Then we have some cool little. See if I can catch them all. Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? There we go. I'll go through them like this. Oh, hang on, see, I'm going too far now. Look. Right, we go to some little scenes where you get to see little glimpses of paranormal activity, and sometimes they're pretty tricky to spot. So we see the first one. See if you can see anything happening. I couldn't see anything there, could you? But other times you see things move in the background, just to give you the willies. Couldn't see anything there either. I'll have to keep pausing it so I don't get taken down. By the way, I didn't hit the mute button, did I? And we're seeing obviously over the credits, we're seeing this going on. But soon we'll see some spooky stuff happening. We might be seeing it already, but I'm just not noticing because I'm not very observant. Oh, there we go. There's a shadow there. You can see it on the floor. A shadow of a person there. Told you I'm not very observant. I've seen this film. I've lost count. A number of times I've seen this film, and I've just noticed that for the first time. Tell you how observant I am. I'm hopeless. So we'll keep doing this. I suppose if you can hear me clicking, it's because I'm clicking on. I should do it with the old. Saying that though, my space bar is just as bad. It's just as noisy as my mouse clicks. But little flashing light there in the room. going to see anything here. I think that picture on the wall moves. There you can see that. Let's get you all, spookified before the film starts proper and we get into it, the nitty gritty. I just want to go through this intro scenes. What can we see here? Are you seeing anything? Because I'm not. Something might happen. Or does the mobile move? Did that mobile move then? I wasn't sure. I wasn't paying much attention. What can we see here? Is anything there? Is there anything there? I can't see anything in that one. You think they put something in everything, but that's an obvious one. Some sort of shadow figure there. Which spookily comes over the credit for Joseph Bishara, who did the music for this film, and he also played the lipstick-faced demon in this film. And he plays a good part. I think he plays another part as well, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm probably wrong. Here we see some toys. Presumably there's some of Dalton's toys. I don't think any of them move. Oop. There, that chair's moving, look. That chair's moving. Are you scared? Oh, you can't see it from my fat head. There's a chair moving behind me. I wonder if anything spooky will happen in the house tonight. Usually does when I'm doing this. It did earlier on. I was watching this film earlier on. There's a bit of preparation just to refresh my memory about it. And I had to take a break to go and just washing up stuff like that. And one of the fridge magnets fell off, just spontaneously. Hey, just to give me the willies. And I also thought I heard a voice. But I think that could have been somebody outside. I think that light fitting there, I think that's behind all me like and subscribe and all that. That starts swinging. There you go. See, we're getting there. We're getting near the end. Can you see that? There's a face in the mirror. You see that down there, the end of in the bathroom. There's a face in the mirror. Have you noticed? There's 3 lights over the mirror. A bit like like you see in a dressing room, and that comes into play later on as well with the lipstick-faced demon. Hey, there's the is it a grandfather clock? What's the difference between a grandfather clock and a grandmother clock? Is there a difference? I presume a grandmother clock's a little bit smaller. Anyway, there's that clock at the end of the hall, but that's in the second house that they live in. But as you can see, it's stopped. It's stopped swinging. It's at a funny angle. Is that supposed to mean anything? Is there anything else that we see in this little bit? I can't notice anything. Here we get some ghostly footprints. There you go. Reminiscent of the remake of The Haunting. Have you seen that one? Oh, it's not a good film, is that? The Jan de Bont version of The Haunting with Catherine Zeta-Jones in, and many others. We're nearly there. This is in the second house as well, I think. They live in 2 houses in this film, by the way. They're really good at buying houses in this. I'm not noticing anything there. Don't mean there's nothing there. I'm just not noticing it. There's a photo of the family. Is anything in the background of the photo? Not that I can see. So we've got Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, who play, hang on, I forgot the name, Josh, and what's her name? I can't bloody remember. Renee, that's it, of course. Josh and Renee Lambert, and there's Dalton and Foster. And they've got another baby called Callie, but I don't know why they've given the boys surnames for first names. So they're Dalton Lambert and Foster Lambert. Maybe they're rebelling against people that have 2 first names, like John James and stuff like that. Terry Scott. Anyway, written by Lee Whannell, who also plays Specs in this. Right, so off we go. And as we'll see in this film, Josh Lambert, Patrick Wilson, is obsessed with his appearance at the beginning of the film for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't explain it. I suspect he's having an affair, but we never find out. And there we see the big old clock. But it's as you notice, the pendulum is straight down this time. It was at an angle before. And there we go. Then we fade in on the lovely Rose Byrne. Right, so they've just moved into a new house. She wakes up, she hears Josh's snoring, creaking, just to get the old spooky juices flowing. But as you can see, they've just moved in. Things are in boxes. She goes downstairs. She's got monkeys and bananas gym jams on. And as we'll see in a minute, her son Dalton appears, and he's got the same pyjamas on. Anyway, so she come down. We noticed there's some books and stuff in boxes and things, a bit in disarray, and she takes some out and puts some on this shelf over here. This is the sort of film, by the way, you've got to keep looking in the background, because I'm sure I've probably missed things that's going on with this film. I've probably missed stuff. Because as I've said, I'm not very observant, but there are some things that hopefully I'll be able to point out to you. But anyway, she's looking through here. She's looking through a photograph album, and she's seen photographs of herself and Josh. And we find out that there's no child photos of Josh. Because he doesn't like having his photo taken, and that's important later on. There we go. There's photos of, I presume that's a young Rose Byrne when she was young in Australia. 'Cause remember, she's an Australian actress. We don't often hear her speaking with an Australian accent. In fact, I don't recall ever hearing her speak with an Australian accent, because I've never seen her play an Australian. I bet she were in Home and Away or Neighbours or one of those, because they've all been in them, haven't they, the Australian actors? Anyway, so there you go. So Dalton's come down. As you notice, he's got the same gym jams on as his mother. I don't know if that's important or not. I don't know why. There he's just said to her, he says she's old, because they're looking at the photos when she was young, and he says she's old now, and she says, how old? And he says, 21. And then that's where she's saying, I wish you were right. Oh, there you go. That's when she tells him there's no photos of Dad. And then the baby starts crying. So she kind of moans that when he were a baby, he didn't cry like his sister did. So then we cut to breakfast, and for some reason the kids are sitting on the floor, but the chairs there, so why don't they sit on those chairs? Because they're little shits, that's why. This is Josh. Remember I said he's obsessed with his appearance. He just found a grey hair on his head, and he pulls it out. And then again we see him later with some facial, ointment, for his crow's feet. So I don't know why. I don't know why they've put this in the film, because it just makes him look like a knobhead. And it also gives the impression here that he's more concerned with his job than he is his family. Renee is the one that seems to be, doing everything in the house. Whereas he's going out. He's a teacher, by the way. He's going out to work. And obviously, that's important, but it seems to be more important to him than his family. But obviously that changes as the film goes on. Right, so he's going to work, and he says he can't take the kids to school because he's running late or whatever. So obviously she's got to take the kids to school. I don't know why he won't. Maybe they're at a different school to the one he teaches at. Anyway, there's the house. Lovely house, isn't it? They must pay well, these teachers. But then again, houses in America cost about a fiver, don't they? For a massive house. Or they seem to. Anyway, so she's here. She's playing a piano. She's a musician. She's a songwriter. There she is. and she's singing away, so obviously composing a song and playing on the piano. I don't know if she's written any famous songs, I don't know, but whether it pays well or not, I've no idea. But as you can see, you can't see, but on the top of the piano there's the baby monitor, and we hear it crackling. And she goes up, we hear a noise, and she goes up to check on little Callie. Don't know why they haven't given Callie a surname. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's short for something. It'll be short for something dopey, because they're Americans, or she's playing an American. Anyway, so she puts the baby back down, keep checking all the corners, make sure there's nobody standing there. What's that there? Is that something there in the room? Or am I just seeing the edge of something? It looks to me like there's somebody kneeling there. I've never noticed that before. You can't see it, can you? Hang on, let me move that over a bit. Can you see that there? Just there. Oh, just, hang on, where's my mouse pointer? There it is. Is that somebody there? Or is that, am I seeing things? Is that somebody kneeling down? Or like on the knees with long hair? Or am I just imagining things? I probably am. Probably am, knowing me. Put it back. Anyway, she's going to check the attic, so she goes up into the attic. It's all dusty, and she breaks a ladder. Let's see that ladder there. She puts her foot on it and breaks one of the rungs, as you see there, and that comes into play in a little while. For some reason, the lights fitting is like super high up. Why? Don't know. It's to give an excuse for Dalton to climb that ladder to reach it, and obviously hurt himself. Anyway, here we go. Josh has come home from work. The kids need attention, etc. Here we go. Dalton's upstairs playing with his toys, and he decides to go into the attic. They're all here doing family stuff. She's asking where the sheet music is, and he's saying the movers might have put it in the dining room. She says no, she's checked there. Turns out it's up in the attic, but we don't find that out yet. Dalton's gone up into the attic. He tries to reach for the light switch. And we keep hearing like whispers and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if there's anything in these shadows. I've never noticed anything. But I'm sure there's something there. Giving myself the willies here. And here he goes, going to step on the duff rung of the ladder. So you can't reach them. Why did she just pull it down or something? I think it's just wrapped around at rafters, isn't it? The string for the light switch. I don't know. So there's the go up higher, look. I'm trying to get it so you see him. There we go. We see him fall, bangs his head. But he's all right, he's right. But then he sees something. We hear a noise. I think we hear a creak or whatever. And he looks round, and there's something. He sees something terrifying. And I think it's one of the ghosts that we see, a bit later. I think that's probably what he sees, because that ghost seems to occupy that space. So there we go. Dalton screaming. So they all rush up. Well, the parents do. Foster's left to look after Callie. There we go. Did you fall off the ladder? I think he's just fallen off and hurt himself. He don't tell him. I don't think he tells him that he saw something. Anyway, they put them all to bed. All kids go to bed, and then we get a first glimpse of Dalton's artwork on the wall. I don't know if we're going to see it. Oh no, we're not going to see it just yet. It must be in a bit. And so they go to bed, and he's at work, and she's got to sort the house out basically. And we saw him as well putting his cream on his face. And all that. I didn't really understand why they've done that in the film. I don't know. He's talking to her here about songs and why don't she write songs about him? And she says they're all about you. And he says, oh no, you've got to do it like he's the coolest guy. So he's singing to her and they're laughing and they end up snogging. Anyway, then we see the house, going through the house. It's all quiet. They're all asleep. And then we see Dalton in bed. And then the camera kind of goes towards the window. And at first, when I first started watching that, I thought, why is it doing this? I thought we were going to see something through the window. But you don't see anything. Not that I've never noticed anyway. But I think it's just a representation of Dalton leaving his body and going out the window. I think that's what it's supposed to represent. He thinks he's dreaming, but he's actually like astral projecting. There we go. See, I can't see anything out that window. Can you? I can't. Must there be something completely obvious now I've said that? I can't see anything. Because it cuts away in a minute now. There we go, fades out. I didn't see anything. I think it's just a representation of Dalton going out. The next day, doing the breakfast, and she asks Josh to go get Dalton, and goes upstairs, and Dalton is, it seems to be asleep. They can't wake him up. So they're saying, look, Dalton, they can't wake him up. So they take him to hospital. A couple of days has passed by this time. There we go. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just, technically he's in a coma, but it's more like, he's just asleep, that they can't wake him up. So they're going to do some tests, and they said it's only been a couple of days, so they must have had him for a day or two, and but they can't find anything wrong, so they don't know what to do. So they're going to do more tests. There we go. Right, 3 months later, that says, it just says months later for you, but behind me there's a big number 3. It says 3 months later. Right, they brought Dalton home, and this is a nurse explaining to Renee how to put the feeding tube up his nose. I'd let the nurse do that. No matter how long it's going to be, I'd just let the nurse do that. I wouldn't want to do it myself. But she's showing her how to go on. Because obviously he can't eat, so they've got to intravenously feed him. Not intravenously, nasal, through his nose. Right, so anyway... So we cut to she's doing her music again. And as you can see, there's the baby monitor up on the piano. And then we start hearing voices from the baby monitor. And she turns it up and it gets all scary. This is a creepy scene. She's hearing voices, whispering voices. And then somebody saying, I want it now, like a creepy voice. And so she goes to check it. And then it shouts. She drops the baby monitor and goes rushing upstairs. Hey, give it me what I want it. So she goes running upstairs. There's obviously nobody there. I'm getting the willies. I'm getting chills. It does. This film gives me the willies. And there's obviously nobody there. She checks in the cupboards and stuff, and there was nobody there. So she's spooked anyway. You check in the background. There's nobody there. What's that there? That's just a thingy. She's here with Foster. You can just make him out there. And he says he asks her to shut his bedroom door because he doesn't like it when Dalton gets out of bed. Apparently he goes walking about in the night, but I don't know how because he's all tubed up, isn't he? So maybe he's seeing Dalton astral projecting. I don't know. And then we find he's being given an award at school and he didn't bother telling his parents. So he's obviously a good student, and you see there on his board, science project due Tuesday. So he's keeping up with his schoolwork. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. There you go. You can see he's a good kid. Bless him. Now this is where he's telling her about Dalton walking about. Right. In the midst of night, as King Frostmare would say. That's a YouTube channel. A spooky YouTube channel. We're going through the house, seeing There's Dalton asleep in his room. This is Foster. I think he shuts his door. She's telling Josh about the voices on the baby monitor, and obviously he's sceptical. Then I think, hang on, what happens here now? Which bit is this? Is this where the door alarm goes off? Hang on, we'll see in a minute. We'll see. I think this is where the door door alarm goes off, and he finds the door wide open. I think it's wide open, or is it just the alarm's gone off and he thinks, oh, there's somebody knocking at the door. That's it. See, I only watched this today. So there's somebody knocking at the door really loud, I think that's what's happening. But there's nobody there. So, there the light outside flickers. He's checking there's nobody there, obviously. So, he's a bit confused, Somebody played a prank on him. Don't know. He even opens the door and has a look out. Meanwhile, God, that freaked me then. The statue, I thought there was somebody there. And I think this is where Renee goes into Callie's room. We get the first big fright of the film. There you go. Somebody stood behind the baby's crib. That gave me the willies. So she freaks out, obviously. She calls for Josh. There's somebody in there. Look, he was standing right there. And then the alarm goes off and the door's wide open. So he shuts it. But then it opens again. Keep checking the corners. Is there anybody standing there? Lots of creepy shadows, isn't there? But obviously they don't find anything. And the house returns to normal. Right, so he's at school. We see him at school, and he sends. Hang on, I've gone forward instead of backwards. I want to see the beginning bit of the school. Hang on, because there's some interesting names on the board, or at least one interesting name. Fade to black. A lot of fade to blacks and fade-ins in this film, by the way. School bell ringing. Then. See if I can see this board. There we go. Now, can you make that out? Oh, it's behind me bloody things, isn't it? I'll have to move it over. There we go. Can you make out those names? Who we got then? I can't make them out myself. But there's one there. James 1 times 2. What does that mean? I've no idea. I can't make out the other names. But there's James 1's name there, and also the face behind there, you can just see, is the face of the Jigsaw doll from the Saw films. 'Cause remember, James 1 did Saw. He actually made this film in response to Saw, because Saw's quite a gruesome film, innit? And he wanted to prove that he could make a horror film that wasn't gory, because there's no gore in this at all. In fact, there's not many special effects in it at all, or stuff like that. Optical effects. There's one or two little ones. The budget for this film was only $1.5 million, which is unbelievable to me. But I think it made nearly $100 million in the box office, so it was a bit of a success. But $1.5 million to make, a good film just shows, doesn't it? And you get these films, these superhero films that are costing like $200 million in these big sci-fi blockbusters. Anyway, so he's here at school. See, they all bog off at school. Hang on, there we go. They all. When I was at school, the school bell went. You sat there and you waited until the teacher told you to go. In America, as soon as the bell goes, that's it, they're off. Tell you. Anyway, phones Renee and says he's got to stay behind to grade some papers. Leaves a message for her. There you see, behind that thing again, the Jigsaw face. So he stays behind. But I think he has got some stuff to do, but I think he's just making excuses because he don't want to go home. Because he's not been a very good husband and father at the moment. That's why I'm thinking, is he having an affair? Is he seeing somebody? But I suspect maybe that could have been in the original script, but they kind of dropped it, didn't they? As time went on. Anyway, what's she asking here? I can't remember. What's happening here now? The nurse has come anyway. She's checking on Dalton. Oh, wow, that's it. Did he respond to any of the new tests? And no, he's not responded. And she's going to change the bedding, but Renee says no, she'll get it. And she's upset here. She's talking to the nurse, saying she can't cope and all that. And the nurse says, yeah, you can. You're tough. So the nurse goes, and Renee starts to uncover the sheets. I don't know how she does it from the bottom first. I don't know. Maybe that's how you do it. But there you go. She pulls up the sheet, and we see this mark, and it looks like blood, but it's not. And she straightens it out. And as you will see, when the bloody hurry up. There you go. It's a scary handprint with long fingernails. Ah! So she's even more terrified now. He'd fallen asleep at school. The board's changed. Is this a different day? I don't know. Maybe. Probably is. But the board's changed. Or is it just a continuity error? I don't know. Or is it spookiness going on? Don't know. Anyway, he'd nodded off, so he wakes up and he sees he's got a message. Don't they phone each other? He's got a message from Renee telling him to come home immediately. So he goes home, and she has it out with him. He'll be coming home late every single night. And why did she say, "Are you having an affair?" Because that's what Ada said. But they're saying he's scared and he's got to go to work. They've got Dalton's bills to pay. Because it's America. They don't have an NHS like civilized countries do, like pretty much every other country in the world apart from America. They have free at the point of health service, apart from in America. Anyway, she's there. She's got the you can't see, but she's got the sheet with the spooky handprint on, and so they have a little bit of a tiff, and she gives him the sheet. Anyway, we're going to. Josh is asleep on the couch now, and he's having a dream, and I think he's dreaming about astral projecting, because we learn later on. Here we go. We learn later on that look, there's a scary handprint on the window. And two. I think this is still a dream. I think. There we go. That's Renee's dream, probably. Don't know. Anyway. So she wakes up screaming. There we go, and we see the figure that we saw behind the crib is walking backwards and forwards on the deck outside the bedroom. And then he walks back, and then suddenly, jing, he's in the room, and he turns to look at her. There we go. We see his face later on, and it kind of morphs into like a skeletal face. That's one of the few, visual effects in the film. Proper visual effects. But it's mostly practical effects in this film, and editing and stuff like that. Editing techniques for the spooky stuff. There he is. She's telling him he was right there, but obviously Josh is sceptical. Please believe me. And she says she wants to leave, so they go get another house. Just like that. I don't know how long's passed. Because she said, I can't spend another night in this house. And she says, all right, we'll leave. Cut to, they're moving into another house. So is it the next day? Is that how easy it is to get a new house in America? You can just get one the very next day. Houses are us. Maybe so. No, I presume there's been another passage of time. So they're moving into another house. Oh, this is the lovely Barbara Hershey as Josh's mother, Lorraine. I wonder if she's named after Lorraine Warren. Because James Wan's a bit of a fan of the Warrens. Because he did the Conjuring films, didn't he? So I wonder if she's named after Lorraine Warren. Maybe, maybe not. And obviously Patrick Wilson would go on to play Ed Warren, and I can't see Ed Warren using face creams and worrying about grey hairs. It didn't seem that type. Anyway, she's there helping Renee unpack, and she's saying, Renee's saying she's sorry for, having everybody worrying, and you don't have to be sorry. Right, so here we go. Renee is doing the laundry and stuff like that. This is where we see a ghost. In a minute. It's not yet. It's one of the famous, blink and you'll miss it ghost bits. She's going around, collecting the laundry. Here we go. Right, she goes through this room. I might have to move this over so you see it. But she, there we go. So she goes through, and there you see on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a little kid in a flat cap. There you go. And she don't notice. Not very observant, but, could be argued I'm just as inobservant. So there you go. So she goes, carries on doing her stuff, and then she goes outside. We hear some music, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. We hear that come on, and as she looks through the window, I bet I can't get to it. I better don't drop on it. She looks through the window. We hear the music come on. Spooky lace curtains fluttering in the breeze. There we go. She's going to look through the window now and see the little ghost of I presume it's a kid, but it kind of looks a bit like it's got a cross between a kid and an old man. It's got the old, what do you call it? What's that film? Private Lives of Sherlock Holmes vibe to it, where in that way they had, little people, grown-up little people playing, dressed up in kids' clothes. Bit of a vibe of that. Anyway, so she's gone out to the wheelie bin, putting the trash in. Go on, turn round. That's it. Turn round. Look in the window, and then you hear the tiptoe through the tulips. Just proper spookiness. Why she got that, I don't know. No, on vinyl, but there he is. He's dancing away to it. Look, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And she moves, and I'd be running now. I'd be running either away or into the house. I won't just be looking. You don't know how you'd react, though, do you? So, go on there. She moves to the side, then out of, and then it's gone. It's gone, you see. So she goes running through the house looking for it. This spirit, and she goes into. Is this Foster's room? This is Foster's room, isn't it? Dalton's obviously in his bed. Oh, pardon me. I think that's Dalton's room there, isn't it? On the right. So she goes in there, and there's a little cupboard there. There, you can see that there. You see some pair of shoes poking out. She thinks it's in there. Picks up a golf club. She's going to bat the ghost to death. Maybe so. And anyway, it bursts out of the. I've gone too far now. She goes to get the ghost, and it comes out of the cupboard in a very unghost-like way. But a lot of people say that's how ghosts often appear. They look as real as I do. But there it is. Look, laughing, it's having fun playing. But she's shitting herself, isn't she? As you would. So she calls in a priest. And so Josh comes home. There we go. And obviously Lorraine's there, so she's come back. And obviously Josh is not impressed that Renee's called in a priest. He said, you don't even go to church. Anyway, then Lorraine says she had a dream last night that she saw something in this house that they're in, and she followed it into Dalton's room, and it says it's a visitor. There we go. I went to your bedroom, you were both asleep, and then she goes to Dalton's room, and then she sees see where we get his first look at the shadowy form of the lipstick-faced demon. Have a look. I think it's going to cut away in a minute anyway, before we get a chance to see it. Yeah. And she, it says it's a visitor, and she says, "What do you want?" And hang on, I've gone too far now. See if I can find it. There's a couple of scares. There's a jump scare coming up, and I don't want to miss it or get it in the wrong place. Because I read that voice. No. See, I've missed it. You see already. Come on, where are you? Here we go. There, we're going to see it now. There, we see him in the corner. Look. That's Joseph Bishara, the composer of the score. He's playing the lipstick-faced demon. Says, "Who are you?" "A visitor." And it said it was a visitor. And then she says, "What does it want?" And it points to Dalton, as we'll see, with its scary clawed hand. There we go. And then we get first scare of the. See, I've gone too far again already. I knew I'd miss it. And it's when she looks over at Josh, and it's when we get his first scare of the film, his first jump scare. Well, second jump scare. Go on, woman, look over. There we go. There it is. Look, looks like Darth Maul. A lot of people have said it looks like Darth Maul. It's a lipstick-faced demon. It's trying to make itself look attractive, I suppose, by just smearing lipstick all over its face. That's why it's got redness on it. So there you go. So Barbara Hirsch is all scared. Then they hear a big commotion coming from Dalton's room. And they go and look. Oh, crikey. It's all in disarray. And Dalton's on the floor. Look. So they're calling Lynn Shay. Who plays, I forgot her name now, Eloise Rainier. But first, she sends two tech experts, Steve Specs, who's Lee Whannell, who wrote it, and that's took Angus somebody or other. Where are we? Angus Sampson has took her. There we go. So he's the laid back one, and Specs is the nerdy one. So they've gone to check the house out before Eloise comes. So they're doing Ghostbusters style checking things out. So there he's using his Viewmaster to look for things in different light wavelengths, like UV and infrared and all that. So he's going through the house, and then he sees a couple of ghosts. There we go. We're going to see it now. He changes the filters, and so when he sees, there we go, a couple of ghosts, and they do little edit cuts and stuff. So they're just 1 minute like that, and then they go like that, smiling and stuff. They do that a couple of times in this. So that's when he realises they can get Eloise in. So she comes as Eloise. There she is, all smiley and nice. It's a mistake with the subtitles there. They don't put a capital R for Renee. Never mind. But this is Lynn Shay, who plays Lynn Shay in everything. But she's lovely. The sister, I do believe, of Bob Shay, the Supremo of New Line Films. Anyway, so Specs got his sketchbook, so she goes into Dalton's room, they've tidied it up, obviously. And she's going to describe to Specs what she can see, and he draws it. And she can see the lipstick-faced demon, and that's what Specs draws there. It's hovering above Dalton. So they've got to work out what they can do. So anyway, Josh isn't impressed. He doesn't believe him. It's when she tells him about Dalton can astrally project. As he leaves his body, he thinks it's a dream, and he's got lost. He's gone too far. He's got lost, but there's something in the house that's stopping him from getting back home, finding his way home. And he's in a place that she calls the Further. It's a bit like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, but different. That's where he is. It's like a parallel universe. It's like where we are now, but different. Spooky, it's like a spooky here, with lots of fog machine stuff going on. Anyway, so Josh tells her to sod off. Basically, says, "I don't believe you. This is nonsense." There you go. So he asks him to go, and he don't believe it. So he goes, but then he immediately has a change of heart. He goes to see Dalton. Says, "Come back, buddy." Oh, then he says, "Give me a sign," and one of the pictures behind falls off the wall. Dalton's pictures that he draws. I don't want to go too far, because I don't want to miss it, because we see some of them. Just step forward. There, show him a sign. You've got to show me a sign. One of the pictures falls off, and he goes and sees all the other pictures. He mustn't have noticed them before. But there's a red door, spooky face. Then there we go. There's the lipstick-faced demon with his mirror with the lights on, like you see in a changing room, a dressing room. So that's when he realises that there is something to do with it. There we see a horse. That horse comes into play later in the Further. So Dalton's drawing basically what he sees when he's astral projecting. There we go. This is he sees himself asleep. "Last night I watched myself sleep." It's a great example, this, of somebody with an art degree trying to draw a picture like a kid. You can see that's a kid hasn't drawn that. It's somebody who's expertly tried to replicate a kid's drawing. "Then I flew away," and then it shows him up in the sky. There we go. Yeah, the kid drew that. Yeah, of course he did. So he changes his mind and he says, "Come on and get her back in then." So they get her back in, and with Specs and Tucker, and they set up all their equipment. She puts on a big gas mask, and he puts some headphones on, and she speaks through the gas mask. They probably explain why, but I'm not entirely sure. Is it some sort of sensory deprivation? I don't know, but maybe she can hear the voices better. So she says, what the spirits are telling her, and he writes it down. So that's what happens here, and he's writing all sorts of things down. And it turns nasty, and swearing, calls them pigs and stuff like that. There you go. "They'll hurt me." I think this is supposed to be Dalton, isn't it? "They hurt me, they'll hurt me," and all that. Because he's been held captive, is Dalton. Then others start coming through. "You're filthy," and all that, and horrible stuff. But then I think Dalton gets out of his bed there. He gets flung. Josh gets flung to the floor, and then this ghost appears. And you see his face is like, changing and stuff. It's like a skull, but you can see his nose and stuff. It looks like it's superimposed. I think that's. By the way, all the flashes they've got like cameras going off all the time. All the Bedroom's all going mental. There's Dalton. Oh, she's trying to exercise him. She's saying, "Leave this child alone." She thinks she's Max von Sydow. Anyway, it doesn't do any good. Poor Specs got a whack to the head. That's why we've got some beef there. Why? Don't know. I suppose beef's supposed to help. Anyway, Tucker's showing him a video, images, video, and he says he went through it frame by frame, and we see behind Dalton. We'll see Dalton there and go through it frame by frame, and behind him there's the lipstick-faced demon puppeting Dalton like a marionette. So anyway, Lorraine arrives, and that's when they tell Josh that he used to do it in when he were a kid. He used to astrally project when he were a kid, and that's so she got Eloise in to help, and you were haunted by a woman, an old woman. There we go. You were terrified of an old woman that we saw at the beginning of the film. And Eloise came in to help with that. And what they did, they made him forget. I think they kind of hypnotised him or something and made him forget all about it. So he couldn't do it again. So he couldn't go astrally projecting and get lost. But the first noticed this old woman in photos of Josh when he was a kid. That's why he ain't got any anymore. Can we see in that one? I don't know. But they're looking at photos of him. Oh, there we go. There we go. So she's appearing in the background. And she said, at first I thought it were a camera fault. And that's not a camera fault, is it? Could be any more obvious, could it? There was an earlier picture. Am I on this? Let's do that again. Hang on. No, it's not gonna do it, is it? And the see her in the background anyway, getting closer and closer to Josh, the young Josh. I'm trying to find the bloody pictures. Oh, anyway, never mind. Yeah, anyway, so they've got to get Dalton out of the further, and Josh is the only one that can go and get him because he's got the ability to astrally project. So he says, "Okay, then that's what I'll do." So, they do the kissing, the old, we're a family and we love each other, blah, blah, blah. And as he's ready to go, so he thinks it's not happening, and then suddenly he's there, he's in the further. As I said, it just looks like here. And so he's to go out a-wandering and go to the old house. He sees them talking. He goes outside. It's all foggy and misty because it's spooky. And off he goes. He's looking for Dalton, calling out to him. He's seeing, I think that's the young Josh, I think. Then he goes to the old house. I'd say it's the old house. They only lived there 5 minutes, didn't they? So he goes inside and he sees, spooks and stuff. There's a spooky, ghosty type person going up the stairs. There's another one in the corner. A lot of people, I think they're like, the spirits that are anguished and stuff like that. He finds his family. The husband's whistling. But they're not moving, they're just sitting staring. He's whistling. The mother's there. But she blinks. So that's how we know that they're not just mannequins, because they look a bit waxy, don't they? But they look a bit strange. And I wonder, is that Joseph Bishara? I don't know. It might be, it might not. I don't know. Bloody scary anyway. Anyway, so he goes upstairs and he sees, there we go, there's her with a gun, a shotgun. And then she goes downstairs. She just disappears. Then we hear gunshots and she's killed the family. So did that happen in the house at some point in the past? Somebody killed their entire family. Probably. But there we go. They're all there, look. So he goes upstairs to the attic. There he sees the red door. We remember it from the drawing. But then that big ghost appears. Is that him behind there? Maybe not. Don't know. There he is. Says he can't pass. So they have a fight. But Eloise reminds him that because he's alive, he's stronger. So he just pushes the ghost away and goes through the door. Here go the fighting. This is where she tells him, help him, Elise, please. And she tells him he's stronger. And that's when he pushes him away. He goes flying backwards. So he goes through the door. And this is where it finds it's now in the lair of the lipstick-faced demon. I don't know if he's got another name. I don't know. That's just his in the cast list. That's what he's called. There's the horse. I think that remembers from the drawing. There's Dalton crying. He's chained up. But there we go. Josh finds him. Have you noticed now? Remember at the beginning? Dalton had the same clothes on as his mother. Now he's got the same clothes on as his father, or similar. So is that deliberate? Probably to show the connection. And here can't talk. We hear the tiptoe through the tulips again. He looks up, and there's the lipstick-faced demon up there in his dressing room, sharpening his claws and stuff like that. Listening to, just sees his reflection there in the mirror. Listening to tiptoe through the tulips, and this gave me proper Jeepers Creepers vibes. Remember the Creeper? Listening to the Jeepers Creepers song and doing things, sitting at his workbench and stuff. This reminded me of that. Very much so. Anyway, there he is. So they're going to get him out, but the demon notices them. His forked tongue came out then. And here it comes to get Josh. But he grabs. They get away. They get out, and then we see a quick look of the demon's face. Anyway, they have to head back. They have to head out of the attic and back home, back to the new house. Remember, the further's just like here. So however far the new house is away from their old house, they've got to go that distance. So there we go. So they're running home. Josh, follow my voice. Follow my voice. But then other spirits start appearing. Stuff starts happening in our world. The spirits start doing stuff. And a hand came out there to grab. There we go. To grab Specs. So he freaks out a little bit. So he tells him to go. She tells him to go check on Dalton. So that's where they go. I'm hearing stuff over the baby monitor. More spirits are appearing now. Anyway, Josh is on his way. He's here. He's coming. They've got to keep those spirits away from Dalton, basically. But Dalton, they get back in the house. But the lipstick-faced demon's chasing him, and there we see the old woman that haunted Josh as a child. Turns out it's not actually an old woman; it's a bloke dressing up as a woman. We find that out in Insidious chapter 2, which, to be honest, I didn't really like that much. It was okay, but it wasn't great. But there we go, he's telling, "Get away from me!" So while he's dealing with her, Dalton's running away from the lipstick-faced demon. Anyway, Josh wakes up suddenly. He's back in his body, and Dalton is back in his body. and everything's okay. They've escaped. He's okay, and everything's happy. But not really. They're all satisfied that they've done a good job. They've saved the kid. He's hungry. Look, he's eating some noodles. Hope he ain't got a face hugger in him. Not a face hugger, chest burster. It's just alien vibes there. He says he's tired. He's been asleep for months, but he says he's tired. But then Eloise takes a photo of Josh for some reason. I don't know if she does it on purpose. I think she suspects something. So remember, she's psychic. There we go. She suspects. I think she's seen the old woman. She takes a picture of him. And Josh gets enraged and throttles Eloise to death. There you go. Throttling says, "Why did you do that? I don't like my picture being taken." So he's killed Eloise. So she goes looking for Josh. Don't know where he is. Anyway, she finds the photo, and that's what happens. It's the old woman. She's possessed Josh. Then she finds Josh, and she looks round, and then she goes, and then the film ends, and that's it. You know what? I can't actually remember what happens in the second one. Is there some sort of resolution for Eloise's death and Josh killing her and all that? I can't actually remember. I'll have to watch the second one sometime. I just remember I didn't like it as much as the first, but this one ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. But it's a really good film. I really enjoy it. I really, really, really enjoy it. But as I said, it's not gory. There's no gore at all in it. There's just, spooky stuff going on. A couple of jump scares. Not too many, thank goodness. Because some of them go a bit crazy, don't they, with jump scares. And they're more annoying than scary, aren't they? It's about atmosphere, is this film, really, and looking for things in the background and in the corners of the rooms and stuff like that. They're the sort of films that scare me, atmospheric stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And I hope you've enjoyed it as well. We'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So, I don't know what film I'm going to do next week. I might go back in time now and do an older one. We will see. We will see. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed me going through Insidious. As I've said, I really enjoyed the film. It's one of my favourites. It's a $1.5 million budget. Unbelievable, eh? How did they get all that out of $1.5 million? I have no idea. But we'll leave it there. So wherever you are, don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee.